Yeah, 1, 2. Well, good morning. This morning, we're going to provide an update on what is a significant but not yet a severe weather event hitting the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and that's the impact of Hurricane Helene. As of this moment, we have about 22,000 homes without power in Kentucky. We have no significant flooding at the moment and no major road closures, though we do expect that to change. We are at the very beginning. We expect the impacts to get more significant as we move through the day. Because of that, we are going to send state employees home at 10:30 this morning. And so if you want to think about how serious we are viewing this impact, we do not believe a state of emergency is needed at this point yet. We believe the conditions out there on the roads and for travel are going to get significant enough, especially about noon today, that we want our folks to get home and to be safe. I'm going to walk through a couple of weather slides, and then we're going to turn it over to emergency management, followed by transportation, and then we will take a couple of questions. So let's start with the first one. We're going to try to start with the first one. Well, as it's coming up, really what we are looking at in this event is widespread rain and gusty winds. The widespread rain is 3 to 5 inches possible all the way through Sunday night. I believe the vast majority of the rain we're going to see today, maybe 70%. But as you're looking at the various models and what it could mean, this end of this system could stop pretty much right above central Kentucky and dump rain on us all the way through the end of Sunday. Now, we are pretty dry right now, which means we can take a lot of this rain, but this is a whole lot of rain. And so our biggest concerns are flash flooding in certain areas. We've certainly seen that as Hurricane Helene has moved up through the United States. And it's really important that when that happens, that you do not drive through that water. Remember, always turn around. So this is the first slide. It gives you an idea of what we are looking at and the fact that all of Kentucky is under at least a 15% chance of flooding from the rain that's coming. The rain's going to be really heavy at times, especially moving through the afternoon. Add to that wind gusts of 40 to 55 miles an hour, really starting about noontime for much of Kentucky, and we'll get to that. So just think about the fact that heavy rain and gusts that could potentially reach 60 miles an hour can be very treacherous on the roadways. That is enough to move most cars. That's enough to move some tractor trailers. So one of the reasons that we're sending state employees home a little bit early today is not wanting them to be on the roads during that period of time. If you do choose to do that, be careful. No texting, no phone calls. If you're out in the middle of this, we need your 100% attention while you're driving for your safety and for the safety of those around you. Minor flooding is possible today, and we also believe that we could lose some trees, which could definitely impact power across the Commonwealth. So certainly a chance for some minor flooding, a chance that we lose power, a chance that we have trees fall over roadways and create treacherous conditions. Our main concern right now is the condition for travel on the roads during, especially later today. If we look here is the map of where we have those power outages. Laurel County right now being one of the most significant, Hardin County as well. We expect this will go up and down throughout the day. When crews can get out there, certainly we'll see it go down. Though remember, sometimes they have to turn off the power to neighborhoods to get something fixed, to get it back on for more folks. Let's move to time of arrival. If we can move to this gives you an idea of when the biggest amount of winds is going to come through Kentucky. Again, we're really seeing noon as the time that we think folks should be the most concerned. How heavy these winds are is going to depend if we get any sun or not between really this first band that's come through and the next one that's coming. It doesn't have to be a lot of sun. If it clears even a little, then we're looking at those gusts of 60 miles an hour. If it doesn't, then hopefully those winds will be less and there will be less danger that's out there. Now, normally when we talk about if the sun comes out, we're talking about tornadoes. There is a low chance of that in this event. That is not our major concern. Our major concern is how big these wind gusts can get for folks that are either outside or traveling. And so now is the time. If you have a little break in the weather, if you got any patio furniture or anything outside, you want to bring that in. You also want to be careful about being out there walking the dog and other things when wind is that high and when the rain could hit as much as it is. Again, look at this slide talking about 45 to 50 mile an hour winds. If those are regular winds, that's dangerous in and of itself. That gust to 60 makes it even more dangerous. The strength, again, depends on what we're going to see here over the next couple of hours. That last one is what we're talking about. The travel and high-profile vehicles will be difficult, especially on certain roads. Let's hit the next slide. So again, this talks about the level of wind that we're seeing. This one mentions the power outages that'll certainly be possible if we lose a lot of trees. Again, that could impact travel on a lot of our roads as well. Let's move to rain accumulation. So our two big issues, and again, are wind and rain. And we've talked about that wind. The rain's going to be significant. That doesn't mean, given the drought that we've had, that we're going to have flooding, and we don't currently expect widespread flooding. But remember, this is the remnants of a hurricane that's hitting us, and I believe that we all ought to be humble enough to know that this forecast can change, and that we may need to get additional information out there as it goes. If we're worried about flooding in anywhere, it's certainly Green and Cumberland River basins. But again, it shows that a large part of Kentucky will get a significant amount of rain. Flood watch is in effect for a large portion of Kentucky. That means you should be on alert, especially if you're in areas that tend to flood. I'd end by just saying the most important thing, if you're out there and you're driving, is do not drive through a flooded area. That's how we lose people. If we lose people in this weather event, it'd likely be that or the result of trees falling or folks out on the roads when the wind is coming through. So do not drive through standing water and never go around barricades. You know, if somebody is taking the time to put barricades up around a flooded area, it means that your car or your truck will likely not make it through. So please never go around those. I'm going to turn it over to Eric Gibson. First, he is our Director of Kentucky Emergency Management. We'll then hear from Mike Hancock from Transportation, and then we'll take some questions.
Good morning, and thank you, Governor, for the introduction. And the information that you've shared with the viewers today. As we, discuss this event, that it's an incoming storm and we're starting to see the effects of this hurricane, it's good to know that we have made these preparations in advance of this storm. We knew this storm was coming. We're continuing to get updates regularly on every 2 hours. The National Weather Service is providing us the most current information that we can to be prepared to respond to whatever threat comes to us. And as you hear, this information is getting updated regularly. The power outages have surged just in the past hour from what they were just a little bit earlier today. Like the governor mentioned, over 20,000 outages already. That number will continue to increase. The saturated ground, bringing the trees down over the lines, we've got some real risks to be concerned about. The Emergency Operations Center is operational. It's staffed and will be staffed throughout the event, just like we should be. Our staff are already there. They're monitoring. They're working with the Weather Service. We're working with our local partners. Many of our local fire and rescue departments have been contacted today, yesterday. As we build these rosters for the teams, we're ready to deploy if needed anywhere across the state. We have members that are ready to come to your aid. We also worked with our state police friends and our National Guard friends to have our air assets available if that becomes a necessity to get people to safety. So we're preparing our assets. We make sure that we're ready to respond to whatever the threat may be, and we continue to be staged and prepared to help that local agency, whatever the local event is. We're there to assist them. We have our state partners already invited into the Emergency Operations Center with the Energy Cabinet, the Transportation Cabinet. We're working with our state partners to be that agency that you expect us to be, to coordinate that response. Our level of preparedness right now is just being ready to respond. We're not actually in the act of sending anybody out to anything. We're waiting for that call to come in. So as we continue to be there, your local emergency management agency is there to help you. Your local first responders are there to help you, and we're there to assist them if that need becomes a state level need. So the Emergency Operations Center is open. Our warning point number is posted on our website. If you need us for anything or you need to report any damages, please feel free to call that number that's listed, and we'll be glad to assist you any way we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Eric. This morning, Team Kentucky is proud to have some of the best public servants around who are ready to spring into action to keep everyone safe. Like you, our state transportation staff has been monitoring the weather, and our crews have been prepping equipment and chainsaws to help with debris removal to keep roads clear. They're on standby to see how the weather unfolds and will respond as necessary to keep traffic moving on state routes for emergency responders and for travelers. With high winds, the threat of downed trees and power lines, as well as flying debris, is high. These can all pose roadway safety hazards. If you can avoid travel when winds are high and rainfall is heavy, please do. This will give the crews and first responders the time and space needed to protect the public. I want to just quickly reiterate something the governor said a minute ago, especially if you're out on the roadways. Be respectful of the large trucks and other vehicles that are out there with you. The wind can blow them around and create situations. So just make sure that you are keenly watching the environment around you as this unfolds today. If you must travel today, please remember, never drive through high water, as only a few inches of water can float a car. Turn around and don't drown. Take it slow. Avoid hard braking. Hydroplaning most often occurs when a vehicle is driving too fast in wet conditions. Keep your headlights, keep both hands on the wheel, and keep a safe distance from vehicles around you. Never touch down utility lines or try to move trees tangled in those lines. If you encounter a dark traffic signal, treat the intersection like a four-way stop. Secure your load. Make sure any items you're transporting have been securely tied or covered. And be mindful of debris remaining alongside roads. Crews often move debris to the right-of-way to make a clear path, and will return shortly to clean all of that up. Urge everyone to stay weather alert by monitoring weather forecasts today. And finally, check traffic on a navigational app like Waze or on the KYTC website at gokentucky.ky.gov. Now I'll turn it back over to the governor.
So in summary, certainly a significant weather event. Our main worries are wind gusts and sustained wind, as well as the amount of rain. We've pre-staged assets across Kentucky to be ready to respond if it moves from significant to severe. Finally, we just want to make sure that everybody out there is careful. We made it through F4 tornado and F3 tornado, multiple smaller tornadoes, terrible flooding in 2021 and 2022, multiple polar plunges and other major storms that have come through. We want to make sure that everybody makes it through this and that the lessons that we have learned about being smart, about being cautious, and about looking out for each other, that we bring all that to bear in facing Hurricane Helene. So with that, we'll open it up to questions. We got one journalist here and one on the line. So, Lauren?
As far as dispatching to the state of Florida at this point, I mean, are there any plans? I know our focus is on the state of Kentucky and making sure everybody here is safe, but dispatching crews to Florida at any point, has there been a plan for that?
So right now, we've got our assets waiting to see how hard we get hit. Certainly, if it is not significant, then our crews stand ready to help other parts of the United States. North Carolina, for instance, has gotten hit pretty hard. Folks came to help us. We want to make sure we're there to help them. We should know, especially as we move through today, how strong the storm is when it hits us, what we think that we'll see over the next couple of days. And then on the line, we have Justin Hicks. Okay, we'll get Justin's question answered offline. Thank you all. Everybody be careful out there. Remember, this is going to extend probably through Sunday. Be safe. Take care of those around you. Let's make sure everybody gets through this one. Thank you.